Welcome to Inside Sim Racing. I'm Billy Strange, and in this edition of Test Drive, I'll be looking at Forza Motorsport 6's newly released Porsche expansion pack. This particular race will feature the Virginia International Raceway that was released in this expansion, along with the car I was looking forward to the most, the Porsche 962C. I am currently using a GT Omega ART chassis, TX base, 599 Evo rim from Thrustmaster, Ricmotech GT Pro 1 pedals, and a TH8A shifter from Thrustmaster with a Ricmotech short shift kit installed. As we get ready to start here, this particular 1987 962C was driven by Derek Bell, Hans Stuck, and Al Holbert. Always takes me a while to get used to running Forza Motorsport 6 because the steering in this game is so sensitive. You can easily use too much wheel and it will break the back end loose. So you've got to be nice and calm with the wheel and do some setup on the cars. That's what makes driving street cars in this game particularly hard. Throw on top of that, Virginia International Raceway. This is a tough track to learn. This car is extremely difficult to drive in its stock setup right out of the box. The whole thing just made for a very long learning curve for me. I don't know if other people experience this, but it's hard to jump back into this game when you've been playing some other sims on the PC or even Project Cars. This one just, it handles differently. And you almost have to retrain your brain how to drive Forza Motorsport 6 on its own. The setup changes I made to this 962, I took some air out of the rear tires, only a couple pounds. Changed the camber settings, I softened up the rear suspension, I softened up the bound on the rear and the rebound on the front so you get a little quicker weight transfer. This thing has a lot of on-throttle oversteer. It's not so much when the turbo kicks in because I can anticipate for that. You'll see me play with the throttle down there on the right-hand side. You can see the brake and the throttle working. When it gets to the boost, you almost just have to hold it for a second and then you can roll in the throttle. You know, I'm not running any assists on the car. It's more of the just brute power. You can see the speed that we gain on these guys down the straightaway. The brakes aren't as good, and my acceleration off the corner is tempered by that gnarly wheel spin that comes from this car. It's an amazing car to drive, and when you can actually make laps with it, it's very rewarding, but it's very, very difficult to get around this track. There's so much elevation change and blind corners. This is just a tough combination. That guy over there looks like he took a break and is eating his lunch. Down this decently long straightaway. Quick left, right, little on the brake here. And then downshift into fourth. Little conservative on my part. We're in fourth, looking for third, trying to get it away from that 908. The Porsche expansion, if you start with the career mode, it has one of those beginner races where you can't do anything to the car. You can't even adjust the air pressure. They throw you in a 918 around. It's extremely difficult. You'll learn over time. I'm not a big fan of driving street cars on racetracks, or a track for that matter. Oh, he's off in the dirt there, so that'll be a gimme. Now we're up to third. Trying to taste down, what is it? Can't quite see. Looks like a Ferrari. So anyway, they give you that first teaser race before you actually start the actual career. It's difficult. The car is a hard car to get around the track. Driving street cars in the game, I don't know what it is. It's just not my thing. I'd much rather drive a race car around a racetrack. I guess. It looks like maybe 2 Ferraris were chasing on the last lap here. My goal was to get a podium, so we've got that now. Problem is, we'll get them through here, but then when we get to the long straightaway, it'll be difficult. They'll pull away from me coming off the turn. Again through the S section. Yeah, you get this down, right? Nice and quick. It's debatable whether you need to shift down on that right-hander, but I did anyways. Looks like the Ferraris are battling up here. Make this first right-hander, and then this second right-hander is real tight coming onto the back side of the straightaway. Nice long straightaway. They're pulling away off the turn, but once the 962 gets on song, you can actually see us start to gain. It just has so much speed. The only upgrades I did to the car was I gave it a brake kit so I could change the bias. Okay, we've reeled in second. First is a little ways around the corner in there. Yes, they both are Ferrari prototypes there. Last set of corners. Roll on the throttle. Try not to spin the tire too much coming off the turn. And we're going to grab second before the line. Perfect. So, again, this is a tough car to drive. And in fact, I was surprised at how difficult the car was to drive when I watched these guys race. When I was a kid, it looked like they were just wheeling the heck out of the cars, which they were. It just seemed to be a little more planted than this car appears to be. Rewarding car to drive once you get it down. The feedback given to you in the wheel is, it can get very heavy, and you get to a point of no return where the front end just wants to push and then snap the back end around because you fed too much wheel into it. Be interesting to drive other cars on this track. This track's challenging. It's got some very technical sections to it. I like that S though. Those S's are cool. Anyway, I want to thank Turn 10 for sending us the Porsche expansion to check out. I want to thank you guys for tuning in and watching all the way to the end. Once again, hit that like button if you would, if you did enjoy this video. Also, if you have a suggestion for our test drive series, please leave a comment below. We will get to them as soon as we can. As always, thanks again for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Take care.